collaboration with mentored program called APS MCC together with Ryanair. If you guys want to talk to us about it later on, you can visit us on our booth. Ryanair is left, we on the right. There is a possibility for you guys to join the fastest growing and for me, best airline for aspiring pilots, Ryanair. Why do I say it's the best airline for aspiring pilots? Because the way they look at pilot training and preparation and screening and assessment is the way I believe in, it's the future. There was an issue with screening and assessing pilots when airlines realized that about 50% of the people applying for the airline failed. What is the reason for them to fail? Well, we talk about the 9 core competencies. Ryanair talks about a little bit more about than just the 9 core competencies. But there had to be a solution to raise the number of the pass rate. What was the solution? The solution was that there had to be a course installed that contains more than just the standard MCC, more than just the 25 hours in the theory and the 20 hours in the sim. Now 20 hours in the sim sounds a lot, but for those of you that might already have done this MCC, you know that the time flies. If you're not, again, well enough prepared, you're not enjoying the course, and you don't really feel ready for the assessment afterwards. With the APS MCC, there's been a few more modules involved that help you to have a better transition from your flight school into the airline. That's why we call it, you're bridging the gap. Now I do know that there's a plethora of choices out there for your flight schools. Wherever you do your training and you have a license in your hand, in the end you have to do an MCC. If you are looking for the proper solution to have a better transition into an airline training, you should first of all look for an MCC that is done on a jet, Boeing or Airbus, depending on where you want to apply. Just a few moments ago out there in the booth, I had a few guys asking me they want to apply for Wizz Air, so they were looking for an APS MCC on an Airbus. And then they said, but please, could we combine the course with the JOC on the 737 and then do the APS on an Airbus? Well, it's possible, but why do you think, is it a good idea, once again, to do an APS MCC to prepare for the airline on the Boeing? Because it's a conventional aircraft, because you learn how to fly with the pitch and power. You really are in charge and control of the aircraft. If you switch off all the automatics, it's you that fly the aircraft. Airbus has another philosophy. So the idea behind it is to create a course that prepares you best for the airline. Not only because I would like to have more money from you guys because you booked the course, no. Your success rate is going to be very present once you join the airline, because once you are in line training and you've gone through an APS MCC with all the preparation, and then for type rating training, your line training is not really a piece of cake, but it's easier because you already have the airline structure, airline SOPs in your blood because you've done it before. If you have not done it before, if you went for an MCC on a King Air and maybe just a screening preparation in the 737, and then you applied for a big airline, then in the type rating you have to learn about the 737. Then your stress level is quite high. So if you prepare yourself before with an APS MCC, then the transition into the airline is better. Now we're not the only ones to provide the APS MCC, and that's not also not the only solution of having a good flight training. As you can see with EXPO, you guys have enough airline partners. I do know that also you already look for the core competencies when you do your initial training, so it's not a new thing that just happens with us. The 9 core competencies and the airline-oriented training already starts with the initial pilot training. So let's continue with it. You learn about the systems, jet notation course part, MCC part, loft part. You know what a loft is? Loft, line-oriented flight training. So normal flights from A to B, and you have to be able to prove to us that you can conduct a normal flight. And then there's a skill check in the end. And with us, we also provide not only the regular 40 hours of sim time, we provide 44 hours, one session more. Why? Because you get 4 hours in the end of screening preparation for your assessment ahead at Ryanair, so that you already have practiced and prepared for your assessment in Dublin. We have the full 77 NG system CBT that you get in advance. You can study at home, you don't have to be in Berlin to do that. It's an online course. We have a one-day assessment preparation with ATTC. They're also out there. That means if you come to us, we will have you screened and assessed in airline style. And the most important thing is, we will give you feedback about it. Normally, if you go to an assessment in an airline, you pass or fail. If you fail, you don't get a feedback. You don't know why you failed. No, there's many reasons why you can fail. Two main reasons. The first reason, if you don't study enough, you don't learn, okay? You have to learn, right? Second, sorry guys, but your attitude, if your attitude is not correct, work on it. We realized that pilots that failed in airline assessment, the tendency is quite high that they fail in the interview. Why do they fail? Because they're not really well prepared. And yesterday we spoke about what to do, what to prepare, and how to present yourself in an interview. You need to know about yourself, you need to know that your paperwork is tidy. Really guys, we had people fail airline assessment because the paperwork was not tidy, was not good enough. The numbers in their logbook did not match the number in the application. There were missing documents, old documents, outdated documents. Don't do that, please. It's not only, excuse me, but stupid, but it's also disrespectful towards those that you're sitting in front of. The airline people, the human resource department, they expect you to be ready, to have everything available and everything in order. And if you don't have that, that's not a good impression. Many people think that airline assessment is something really dangerous, big, frightening. No, the airlines, they do assessments because they want you. They don't do assessments because they have lots of time on their hand. No, I think they have other things to do with their free time. They want you. They are looking for pilots. So they give you a chance to present yourself. Believe it or not, they want you. So basically you already passed, unless you give them a reason to fail you. Nobody else. You give them the reason to fail you. So small things, be well prepared. If you have your CV, check it, go through it. You have to be able to explain each and every point on your CV. Whatever you write in your CV, you need to be able to talk about it. Unfortunately, I have to say also, we had one case, I always tell everybody about the poor girl, but anyways, she was ready, she went through the big course, and then she was not able in the interview to explain how a jet engine works. After overall of 3 years of studying and training as a pilot, maybe she was nervous, maybe she didn't know, I don't know. But she was not able to explain to the technical pilots how a jet engine works. You should know at least that. Even worse, if you don't know, you should be able to help yourself out of the situation. You could say, sorry, at the moment, I don't know. But don't try to look for an answer. Don't try to come up with an excuse. I learned a very valuable lesson on my first assessment ever with DLR when I was flying for, because I did my training at Lufthansa for the application. Math test. There was a math test running on the screen. 58 divided by 2 times 5 minus 17 equals. Next question. 215 divided by 13 times 12 minus 1. Next question. I did not answer one question. I felt absolutely bad. I'm like, okay, I failed. In the interview, they asked me, so what do you feel? I said, sorry, I don't know why I'm here because I did not answer one of those quick math questions. Yeah, we know, you didn't answer. Okay. Good, so did I fail? No, you didn't fail. Oh, that's good, fine. I'm like, okay, that's strange. No, I know. What are they testing? They're not testing if you're a math genius. They are testing if you are willing to put any answer in just to put an answer in. Or if you're able to say, oh, sorry, I don't know. Because if you're in a cockpit, in a situation where you're flying as a captain or as a first officer, and remember you're first officers, okay? You're not co-pilots, you're first officers, okay? If you're first officer and a captain, and it's time to make a decision, if you have no answer, just say, I don't know. Because the other guy is relying on you and hoping that you give him a proper input and an honest input. But if you just, yeah, well, I think 13, maybe. No. If you don't know, say I don't know. If you did not hear the ATC transmission, ask again. Sorry, say again, please, last transmission. Do it. Unfortunately, those things happen. And also I have to say that no matter how well you prepare for an assessment, even with us, there's a chance that you might not be taken by that particular airline. Because maybe you are just not the pilot for that airline. Okay? They invite you and they talk to you because they want to get to know you. Maybe you fail at the one assessment, but you pass at the next. The one airline, no, not the guy. Next, yeah, exactly the guy. You never know. We have 60 hours of classroom, 63 hours classroom training, and it still says 40, but it's 44 hours sim training, screening preparation, oh there it is, sorry. 40 hours sim training, 4 hours screen preparation for Ryanair, 30 hours briefing time. We have the Ryanair assessment invitation fast track opportunity. We only have Ryanair instructors. We have the Ryanair EFBs, iPads for learning, and we use the Ryanair SOPs. And as you can see, our training for Ryanair and for the APS MCC is an airline training, so the guys wear the uniform, okay? In Germany, it's not really common to wear uniforms in pilot training, but in that course we do. Now, the success story is up on the screen, that despite the delay of the MAX, still at least the APS MC students from all the APS providers that are out here, there are Virtual Aviation, there's AFTA, there's Bartolini, there's us. At least those students are being taken in. And yesterday we had a presentation from Mark Duffy. I don't know if somebody from Ryanair here? Okay, so Angelo is there if you want to ask him later on. The stand from Ryanair, they can answer your questions. You can find us in the middle of the EXPO. And as I mentioned before, we are on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and we are at the stand. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you very much for your attention.